When the shy maid noticed the small, strange details everyone else ignored, she realized the CEO's life was in danger, and what she did next would change everything. The top floor of Blackstone Enterprises gleamed like a palace in the sky, with glass walls reflecting the city's silver skyline. Inside, the staff moved with quiet efficiency, polishing, arranging, and making sure everything was flawless for the CEO. Among them was Lila, the newest maid, whose shy nature made her almost invisible. She rarely spoke, but her eyes noticed everything, a habit she had developed long before working here. While the others joked in the break room, Lila worked in silence, wiping down surfaces until they shone. That morning, she stepped into the CEO's private office, breathing in the faint scent of leather and fresh coffee. As she approached the desk, her gaze flicked to the door's lock. A thin scratch marked the polished metal, like someone had tried to force it open. She frowned, running her finger lightly over it. It was small enough to escape most eyes, but not hers. Outside, she caught sight of Adrian Blackstone, the man whose name carried power across the city, greeting a line of board members with a practiced smile. He looked every bit the unshakable leader, yet something about the air felt wrong. Lila's gaze followed him until he disappeared into a meeting room, her mind replaying the scratch on the lock. She told herself it was nothing, just a random mark, but deep down, a quiet unease stirred. She didn't know it yet, but that single detail, the one nobody else saw, would soon place her at the center of a life-or-death moment that would change her future forever. In the days that followed, Lila's sense of unease only grew stronger. She began to notice small, strange details that didn't belong. One morning, she entered the CEO's office to find his coffee cup untouched and cold, odd, since Adrian Blackstone was known for never starting his day without finishing it. Later, while dusting the shelves, she spotted a folded scrap of paper tucked between two thick legal books. Curiosity prickled through her. Glancing over her shoulder, she slipped it into her apron and later unfolded it in the laundry room. It was a handwritten timetable of the CEO's meetings for the week, with certain times circled in red. The handwriting wasn't familiar, and the careful, deliberate way it was marked sent a chill down her spine. That afternoon, a man in a maintenance uniform appeared in the executive hallway, fumbling with a tool bag as if lost. Lila greeted him politely, but he only mumbled and hurried away. She couldn't recall ever seeing him before. Most of the staff dismissed her observations as nerves. "You're still new, you're just overthinking," they told her, but Lila couldn't shake the feeling that something dangerous was moving quietly beneath the surface. That evening, as she prepared to leave, she took a last walk through the top floor. The lights were dim, casting long shadows across the marble. When she passed the executive elevator, reserved only for Adrian and a few trusted staff, she saw movement in the corner of her eye. A figure stood near the doors, half hidden, as if waiting for something, or someone. When she called out, the figure slipped away into the stairwell without a word. Her heart thudded in her chest. Lila realized this was no coincidence. Something was coming, and she might be the only one to see it in time. The next morning, the sky outside the towering windows was still pale with dawn when Lila arrived, her footsteps echoing in the empty corridors. She had barely set down her cleaning supplies when a flicker of unease pushed her toward the CEO's office. The door was unlocked, which was unusual at this hour. Inside, the soft hum of the city below was the only sound. On Adrian Blackstone's desk lay an unmarked envelope, resting perfectly in the center, as if deliberately placed. Lila's hands trembled as she opened it, revealing a single sheet of paper. The words were printed in bold, uneven letters. "You won't see tomorrow." For a long moment she just stared, her breath caught in her throat. She ran straight to Adrian's personal assistant, but the woman laughed it off, calling it a childish prank. Yet Lila's instincts screamed otherwise. She pulled the folded meeting timetable from her apron, the one she had found earlier, and compared it to the CEO's schedule pinned on the wall. Her eyes froze on today's date. Adrian had a private lunch scheduled in the rooftop garden at noon, circled in red on the mysterious paper. The rooftop had no security cameras, no steady flow of people, a perfect place for someone to act unseen. Her pulse quickened. Waiting for security to take it seriously could waste precious minutes. Without hesitation, Lila stuffed the threatening note into her pocket and took the staff service stairs 2 at a time. She didn't know exactly what she would find up there, but one thing was certain: she would rather face danger herself than stand by and watch harm come to the man whose life everyone else seemed to be overlooking. The heavy rooftop door creaked open, and a rush of warm midday air hit Lila's face. The city stretched endlessly around her, glittering in the sunlight, but the rooftop garden itself was silent, too silent. Her eyes swept over the flower beds, the wrought iron benches, the winding stone path. Then she saw him, a man crouched low near the railing, his dark jacket pulled tight, a small metallic device in his hands. Even from a distance, the faint blinking red light told her it was no harmless gadget. Her heart pounded so hard she could hear it in her ears. Without thinking, she called out, "Stop!" The man's head snapped up, his expression twisting in surprise. He shoved the device into his pocket and sprinted toward the stairwell. At that very moment, Adrian stepped through the rooftop entrance, holding a folder, unaware of the danger. "Mr. Blackstone!" Lila shouted, running toward him. She grabbed his arm and pulled him back just as the man dropped something, the device clattering onto the stone path, the timer now blinking faster. Within seconds, security guards, alerted by her shouts, stormed through the door, tackling the fleeing intruder before he reached the stairs. One guard carefully kicked the device away, muttering into his radio for the bomb squad. Adrian turned to Lila, his face pale, his breath unsteady. "What just happened?" he asked. She could barely answer, adrenaline still surging through her veins. All she knew was that if she had been a moment later, the outcome could have been unthinkable. The chaos of the rooftops slowly faded as police and security cleared the scene, but Adrian Blackstone stayed close to Lila, as if afraid she might disappear. Hours later, in the calm of his private office, the city lights shimmered beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows. Adrian poured 2 cups of tea, sliding one toward her. "You saved my life today," he said quietly, his voice holding a weight she had never heard before. Lila shook her head, her cheeks warm. "I just noticed what no one else did." He studied her for a moment, then smiled faintly. "And that's exactly why I need you by my side." Reaching into a drawer, he placed a sleek folder in front of her. Inside was an offer letter, not for cleaning staff, but for a position as his personal security assistant. "It comes with training, full benefits, and my trust," he added. Lila's eyes widened. She had never imagined her life could change in a single day. She thought of the moments she had doubted herself, of the way people brushed aside her quiet observations. Now, those same instincts had saved a man's life and earned her a future she never dared dream of. Outside, the city pulsed with light, but inside, a different kind of light bloomed, the quiet pride of knowing she had made a difference. Lila lifted her tea, her voice steady. "Then I accept." Adrian raised his cup in a silent toast. From that moment on, Lila was no longer just the shy maid in the background. She was someone who had faced danger head-on, and won.